Jahlani Tavai is brought to you by Shaw's and Star Market, perfecting the art of fresh, by Elite Vodka, drink Elite Vodka responsibly, and by findmassmoney.gov. And he joins us on the Harbor One hotline. Hey, Jahlani.
Hey, how y'all doing?
How are you?
I'm doing good. How's everything?
Good. Are you a player who likes the trip to Europe, or are you one who feels like it disrupts the normal weekly flow?
I've never done it before, but I'm actually really excited to, have a new change of scenery. So maybe change will be good.
Have you been to Germany before?
No, I haven't. So that's another reason why I'm excited about it.
Jahlani, when you look at some of the situations that are going on with some of the players on your team, whether it's disciplinary actions being taken place, I guess the question I always ask guys is, do you feel like there's a guy in that locker room that could, maybe police players from what they're saying or what they're liking on social media? I mean, now obviously that's a big part of the game. Wasn't when I played. So do you feel like there's a guy in there? Is that something you do, or is that something somebody else does when guys do something that maybe you don't necessarily 100% agree with via social media?
No, we don't police anything within the players. We treat each other like grown men and professionals. That's on each other to hold themselves accountable for what they say. But for the most part, yeah, we treat each other like grown men. So we got to make some big boy decisions, and that's on the coaches to decide on what they want to do. All that matters to us is, if something happens to one of the players, it's next man up, and it's just another opportunity for another guy to showcase what he has for the team.
Does it bother you personally when grown men who are supposed to be making grown men decisions don't make them, and it affects the entire team?
I mean, everybody makes mistakes, I don't take anything personally because I know the next man out is going to be ready for his opportunity. And, it's on them to seize their this opportunity to play in front of, a big crowd in Germany. So I don't know what was said. All I know is, whoever it was, if people got disciplined or whatnot, then it's on the next person to get ready and be prepared for whatever comes.
Jahlani, with you guys sitting at 2-7 going into this week, I'm sure it's difficult as a player to stay focused and not let frustration boil over. We've seen you guys get into arguments, little fights on the field the last 2 weeks in a row. Has there been a players meeting or anything? I know you guys aren't policing each other, but kind of a come together moment. And, we still have games left to play this season. The season isn't over, even though our record is 2-7.
Well, we've always had that in our mind. I'm not sure what you're speaking on about, like the arguments on the sideline.
Well, not on the sideline. At the end of the game last week with the opposing teams, seems like frustration's kind of boiled over.
Oh, that's just a part of the game. The game's not done until it's zero, like the clock hits zero. So we were just trying to get an opportunity to get the ball back, and hopefully we knock the exchange out of the quarterback's hands. And then, of course, people are going to get mad about how we play at the end. But we're going to play from the beginning of the game to the end, and we're going to give our full effort. But we've always communicated with each other on this topic, and we've always just told each other to continue to play for each other. And it shows out there because, like I said, we're playing from the beginning of the game to the end, and we're there, but we just got to find a way to finish. And that's the biggest focus for us, is just finishing.
Jahlani, you talk about finishing. What do you think the reason is that you guys haven't been able to finish?
To be honest, it's probably just the little things, that the little things that turn into big things. I would say probably our tackling on defense was, not up to par on our standards, and we hold ourselves to, we're striving for perfection on defense. So when we don't make those tackles, those are little things that you know. If you look at last week's game, we'll talk about the Sam Howell play where we had him on third and long, and we could have stopped him by tackling him, and he gained extra yards and got the first. So things like that, we got to make sure that we nip it in the butt, and that's why we had a good practice yesterday, and we're going to continue to move forward and work on those fundamentals.
Jahlani, as an offensive player, I always kind of find this fascinating. I couldn't tackle it, and I never was good at it. What it just when there was an interception, I was like, somebody else better get him down because I probably don't have a chance of doing it. What is it like? Is there specific drills, or because I feel like when you're at this level and you're playing in the NFL, tackling is something that you should know how to do. Is it something that it's just effort and want to, or is there actually things that you can work on as guys who've been tackling forever to be better tacklers?
Oh, it's a bit of both, One, you have to just have a crazy mindset, We're running full speed, trying to collide with somebody and just make sure that we wrap up. And then the other is just like whether it's defensive reps or whether it's tackling drills, we just have to, instead of just going through the motion, it's putting ourselves in a situation, okay, am I going to bend my knees? Am I going to, I know we can't fully tackle at practice, but okay, I'm going to imagine myself running through this guy and wrapping up right now. It's hard to explain without showing y'all, especially since we're on radio, but yes, there are ways that you can continue to be better at that.
We talk about this a lot. You were on this team last year, and when it comes to the roster, it's pretty much minus Jacoby Myers, Devin McCourty. It's pretty much the same roster. Why, in your mind, the difference when it comes to this team, the way it performed last year and the way it performed this year so far?
What is different between them?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I have no control on what the roster looks like, and then two, I'm not sure. I think losing a great player like Dev on the defensive side was a big thing, but I think that we filled in that role really well with a guy like Duggar, and he's been slowly becoming even more vocal, which has been great. I'm not sure about that one. You got me stumped on that.
Okay. All right. We're stumped too. So I was just trying to figure it out. Curtis,
Jahlani, this week, and it's sort of been a drumbeat a lot of the season with the rough start, has been conversation about the future of Bill Belichick. Obviously, his legacy in the game is intact. Has there been any feeling from you or people in that locker room to play to try and save his job if his job is on the line?
Well, I mean, I think all of our jobs are on the line if his job's on the line. So we're all working together. This is not a one person job. This is one of the biggest team sports in the game. So, winning is job security, and we're going to make sure that we do our best to nip these things in the butt that were the mistakes that we're making in the game, so we don't have this conversation again.
Yeah.
So
I love it, and you start on it this Sunday. That's the way to do it there.
Yep, exactly.
What's the long flight? What are you going to amuse yourself with on the way over? Film or cars?
I feel like you forget. I feel like y'all forget where I went to college. I've done these trips before, and I could sleep very well whenever we take these long trips.
So that's it.
I'm not gonna.
He's not a gambler.
Are you do you bring your own neck pillow thing, or are you? I always end up falling asleep immediately on a plane, and then I have a stiff neck for the next 6 weeks. Is that all covered?
Oh yeah. I'm out. I'm out while we're taxiing throughout the airport before we even take off. So I'm not too worried about the stiff neck. I'm just trying to get in the air and get down.
A lot of money could be lost in 6 hours, though.
If you're
for the gamblers,
if you're
playing cards, a lot of money.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time this morning. Safe trip, and we will look forward to seeing what happens on Sunday. All right, Jahlani?
I appreciate you guys having me.
Okay, man.